my YouTube family. This is the OG Crypto Newjack coming at you with some juicy news. But before I begin, let me say I am not a financial advisor. Anything you see or hear in this video is for educational, informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice. Remember to do your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making investment decisions. Okay, let's begin. Taking a look at the crypto market. It is at 1.15 trillion. It's up 0.2%. Bitcoin is coming in at number one at 26,551. Ethereum coming in at number two at 1,846. And our beloved XRP is at number 6 at 52 cents. Taking a look at crypto bubbles, we have Lunar Classic coming in up at 5.2%. And Hex is the biggest loser at negative 10.2%. The Fear and Greed Index is neutral at 50. Okay, moving on. We have Gary Gensler refusing to admit the truth. He keeps spewing this nonsense. CoinDesk puts this thing out after pounding Coinbase and Binance this week. The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, says he gave the industry plenty of warning that this was coming, and he is not moved by his argument that the agency made it impossible for firms to register. This man is a complete liar. This is just a reminder. Ashley Prosper put this thing out on June 1st. The SEC FOIA office has responded to my May 10th, 2023 FOIA request regarding the digital asset registration form that Gary Gensler keeps telling people to come in and register on. It does not exist. They claim registration can be done on existing forms S1, F1, and 10, none of which are applicable to this asset class. Those forms are for shares of stock of company. It does not mention digital assets, so it's literally impossible to register. And he keeps going in the media saying that it is possible to register. Congress needs to bring him in, directly ask him that question under oath, and have him respond and not let him squirm out and give a non-answer. He should be forced to answer that question under oath. Moving on. Crypto.com has integrated with COINROUTES an order execution system to boost institutional access to liquidity and reduce friction for its customers. That's good to see. The crypto space evolving and getting bigger. Another article from CoinDesk, XRP is outperforming the rest of the currency sector with a 12.8 month-over-month increase. Even amid a market contraction, Ripple remains hopeful in this battle with the SEC. And as you can see, XRP is the leader there. Okay, moving on. John Dean, I found something Max and I can agree on. Gary Gensler and the SEC are protecting the incumbents in a status quo at all costs while ignoring the law. But just because you desire the ends doesn't mean you support or celebrate the unconstitutional means. We're supposed to have free market capitalism. Let the market decide the winners from the losers. I told everyone from the start that my investment in Bitcoin is 10x larger than my investment in XRP. Let the market decide. If BTC can kill the SEC, the USD and the Fed can kill all the shitcoins. Bitcoin shouldn't need a bad faith regulator to do the job for it. Let's be consistent, Max. And I agree with that because apparently Max has no problem having the SEC going after companies because of the incumbents or the powers that be. He writes, what Coinbase, Binance, and XRP keep missing is that the SEC is a protection racket for a few insiders. The actual law is not the issue. The issue is the SEC will destroy any of their friends' competition. Exactly. I agree with you there, Max. But you shouldn't be happy as an American citizen that the SEC can go after the incumbents' competition. You know, you should be against that, regardless if you're a Bitcoin maxi, Ethereum maxi, or any other kind of maxi. The people should decide, the market should decide who wins, who loses, not the incumbents and the government friends going after the competition. And moving on from there, shout out to Mr. Man. He puts out, I have nothing bad to say about Bitcoin and people who have emotions behind Bitcoin. This is a paper put out by MIT Research, the same school that is actively having meetings on CBDCs, which will be in our ecosystem soon. Think critically. And this isn't him saying or me or anybody else. This is MIT individuals who are supposedly very smart. They write, while very impressive from a technical standpoint, in its original form, Bitcoin is not suitable for high finance. The reasons are simple. The system is pseudonymous, does not solve all important KYC and AML requirements, and is not scalable by design. As its throughput speed is no more than 7 transactions per second, which we all know is not even comparable to all the other digital assets out there. Okay, moving on, Kim.com. He writes, I told CZ he's finished after setting FTX on fire. Joe Biden loves to go to war for his biggest donors. Here it says the SEC asked for emergency order to freeze Binance US assets anywhere in the world. So they're pretty much trying to destroy Binance. Okay, moving on. Whale chart says breaking, the largest bank in Australia to decline payments to cryptocurrency exchanges, citing the risk of scammers. So that's not a good thing for the crypto space. Ripple put this out. We're at Money 2020 in Amsterdam this week, dropped by booth A150 to talk about how traditional finance can use crypto and blockchain technology to innovate and grow. It's good to see that despite the lawsuit, Ripple continues to grow and expand. And Michael Branch put this thing out. Shout out to him. QNB is a Ripple partner. Compliments of the Working Money channel. QNB and Seawallah sign an agreement for banking services. It's good to see either Ripple, the company, or their partners expanding and growing. Moving on, Ryan Selkis puts this thing out. I have always hated bullies. They are almost always weak men who attain temporary authority, then abuse their position once the drip of power hits their mouth. Chair Gensler is a very typical weak bully. Tough talk, PR wins, laughed at by his employees, etc. He will lose. And on that same topic about bullies, John Dean says, I've watched him for bullies my entire life. Gensler is the quintessential bully. He's the boy who didn't get picked to play the first full court basketball game, so he took his basketball and left. I've talked to people who have been in the room with him, and he insists on showing everyone he's the smartest guy in the room. The same child prodigy that became the youngest partner in Goldman Sachs history, he's disliked by everyone. He was cutting a deal with the biggest fraudster in crypto, Sam Bankman-Fried, and ready to give a regulatory advantage to FTX, an offshore exchange, while screwing Coinbase, an American exchange. Gary Gensler is a bad man, full stop, 100% agree. And moving on from there, I just want to put this thing out there. Hopefully the emails do not get delayed and do get released next Tuesday, June 13th, because Wednesday, June 14th at 3 p.m., John Dean is going to have a special live cast and an all-star legal panel with the man himself, John Deaton, Carl Cesare, and the most funniest attorney in the world, Jeremy Hogan and Mark Fagel. So if you can make it, you can watch it. It's going to be a live cast next Wednesday, June 14th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, moving on. We have David Schwartz put this tweet out, CTO of Ripple. And so we shall go to war. I was hoping that war was coming to an end next Tuesday or soon after that. So I have a hard time deciphering his tweets. So I'm not sure if the war just started, is going to end. If one of you guys can figure it out, please let me know. Moving on the same topic of war, we had Jeremy Hogan. The war against crypto, WAC, has finally begun. Will crypto put together a coalition? The projects alleged to have sole securities, if they have two nickels, should intervene in the lawsuit and argue they did not sell securities, get in the fight, or die on the sidelines. So out of those two options, if I was them, I would rather choose to get together and form a coalition instead of dying on the sideline. You know what they say, united we stand, divided we fall, so let's get together. And here we have this clown, Inverse Kramer. Jim has gone full crypto bear. These crypto assets all seem to be scammed, and I want you out of them. So we all know what that means. It might be a good time to consider either getting in or adding to your bags. You know, this guy is usually spot on.
Because unlike the banks, these crypto assets all seem to be scams, and I want you out of them. Many of you traffic in them every day. You should. You're wrong. Because unlike the banks, these crypto assets all seem to be scams, and I want you out of them. Many of you traffic in them every day. You should.
Well, there you go. You heard that man himself. He's usually spot on the inverse. So, hey, look into see if you want to add to your bags. Okay, moving on. This is Blogworks put out this this article, opinion, Gary Gensler has to go. And that he is a national disgrace. It's time to rein him in. I 100% agree. This is the article that they put out. I'm just going to read the first paragraph. Gary Gensler is the chair of the SEC, and he is not a popular man. While rumor has it that he seeks Janet Yellen's treasury role at some point, sources on Capitol Hill suggest that he has absolutely no chance because he's not just unpopular with cryptocurrency enthusiasts, but with most of the U.S. government too. So apparently he has pissed off a whole bunch of people. And on the topic of Gary Gensler, this thing came out, I believe it was yesterday, breaking. SEC's Gary Gensler applied to serve as an advisor for Binance in 2019. Folks, you can't just make this thing up. You cannot make this up. he put in to become an advisor for Binance. So in 2019, he applies to become an advisor to Binance. 2019, he is rejected, which is my guess, and I believe that to be the case. In 2021, he becomes the SEC's chairman. In 2022, says that Binance is operating illegally in the U.S. In 2023, SEC sues Binance. Did I miss something? I don't think so. Is it me, or did this sound like a weird, twisted version of the show Billions? So you have a corrupt SEC chair with conflicts of interest out the wazoo, and this guy needs to go. He needs to be reined in, and he is a national disgrace. And continuing on that topic, Eleanor Tourette puts out this question: does tonight's news suggest that Gary Gensler should have recused himself from voting to bring the lawsuit against Binance in order to avoid an appearance of impropriety? And I 100% say yes, he should have recused himself, but he probably did not, because as John Dean writes on the bottom, we know how the SEC leadership treats conflicts of interest and appearances of improprieties now, don't we? And exactly. Gary Gensler believes laws do not apply to him because he's above the law. But we'll see how this thing turns out. But in any event, this is going to do it for today's video. If you found this video to be helpful, would you please smash a like and subscribe? I would really appreciate it, and it doesn't cost you anything. Thank you much in advance. And the words of Snoop Dogg, keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind. Peace out, man.